Welcome to Trading Lounge and the European Indices, Elliott wave and trading levels on the DAX and FTSE and so on. So with the DAX here on the daily chart, we're looking at this in two ways. We're looking at it in terms of wave 3 up here, and then an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave moving down through here. And this would be wave 1 here, wave 2 here, and wave 3, 4 and 5 coming down for wave C here. The other way we're looking at it, as you know, is that all the move up here as wave 1 and an A and a B and a C for wave 2 here. So in this case here we have the A wave and the B wave, and we're looking for a C wave to move down to the 50-60% retracement level. So in both cases we're looking pretty much the same thing in terms of another leg to the downside here. So in a bit of a nutshell, we need to see this market actually move down from this particular high here. We need to see it move straight down from here. If we see a new high coming in here, then we need to look at an alternative count, and the alternative count that first pops into my mind would be, where are we in here, of more of a bullish count. This is our alternative count, which is wave 4 low being in place here, wave 1 and 2 here, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 waves up for 5 of 3, back for 4 here, then 1 and 2 here, and 1 and 2, and then wave 3 here, wave 4, wave 5, and wave 4. So basically building to the upside for wave 1 up here. Okay, so we don't know if that's the case just yet, but if this top here gets taken out, this top here, or rather even this top here is more significant, then we would need to look at this here. I always like to sort of consider with the wave counts. The wave counts can be quite helpful and they can be accurate or they can be hauntingly wrong, but the trading levels is always really quite handy to work with. So we know that 13,000 is a major trading level. And we really need to be on the right side of this. We don't particularly want to short the market while the market's sitting on top of this as support here. So if we go to the 4-hour chart here, our countdown here on the 4-hour chart is that we've got this move down because we've got 5 waves here of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So we really need to take note on that. Being 5 waves, then after a correction here, we'll move to the downside here. So, you know, based on this move here, we need to allow this to play out here. And the spike up through here was directed from the ECB's diminishing bond buying strategy. So, yeah, that was over, and the market's pulled back down here. It appears to be in 5 waves. So we just need to see, in terms of shorting though, we need to see, when it comes down to 13 here, always at a level, you'll get your bounce. And then if it moves through here, then that's part of the setup. The other part of the setup is actually coming back and retesting the 13,000. And then we put our short trade in it. And if this retest fails and it moves down, well, then we're on our way down to the downside. So in this case, we're using the closest largest number. We need to be on the right side of the market at the right time. So using the largest number, being on the right side of the closest largest number is critical. And then also looking at the retest here, failing here. If you're looking at the futures market, you'll see that move back up here. You'd want to see that on lower volume than the move down here. So yeah, if it moves down and retests and then fails the retest, then that will be our short trade setup. So we really need that to play out here. In terms of tracking this to the upside, we can have wave 1 array here, and then an A and a B here, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for the C wave of the B. We've also got on our website, in terms of charts, we've also got wave B sitting over here in a triangle pattern, but it doesn't matter. It still means that it must be finished here as well. So even when that spiked up here last time, you know, I still put this wave 5 of C of B here, or 2 here. So the market has moved back down yet, but it hasn't moved to this side of the 13,000 here. So that's really what we're looking at next here. So as I probably would have mentioned, it would take a few sessions to sort this out. So we can look at the move down as wave 1, wave back moving, wave 2 moving back. There was a bit of a spike there on the reopening after the weekend, so I wouldn't pay too much attention to some of these spikes in the beginning of the off hours, because they could be cleaning out their market depth as well in that case, these systems. So but either way, what we can look at here is from the move from the top to the bottom here. We can look at the 50-60% retracement level in here as a rough guide. Of course, we always get this first in here, 50-60, and then we always drift over to the price to see which is the closest largest number, and the 100 area here is that. So I've got if this top gets taken out, we need to be long from that point, but we can bring that down to, well, we could bring it right down into this area here. So if the 100 made a nice support, so a market don't worry about the spike. So if this moves up to here, then it's going to get here and it's going to react. And if it reacts, allow it to react, and then it will have a push to the upside here, and then it will have a little move back down because it needs to rest after cleaning all the volume out from the 100, and then we can bring that down onto the top there. So once again, if the retest on the 100 here goes into play, then we can look to go long at that particular point. So that's doing all the right things at the right time. So this is our long trade, this is our short trade. We just need this to play out here first. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting too when we have a look at some of the other markets. So the Netherlands here, just on the 1 hour chart, the move down through here, we kept the wave count. It got complicated through here as a wave B. I'm calling it a wave B rather than a wave 2 here, because a wave 2 is normally sharp and simple. I mean, in this case here, we could count this down as an A and a B and a C, so it'd be an A wave, and then we would look at this, this is really large compared to this here, so it makes me think that it would have to be a B wave here. But even when it moved up here to its 61.8% mark here, then I think that was the case. Anyway, it doesn't matter. And then we've moved down here, so we're all going according to plan. So it's moved down into this box, it's moved back up into this box, but once again the spike here, I'm not quite convinced about that just yet, so just sort of kind of ignore it when you're doing your trend lines and whatnot. But we can still get to see another push up into this space. But if it moves down below this low here, we need to be on the short side from that point. Okay, and of course if it moves for whatever reasons moves up here, then we can be long from that point. Yeah, so let's see how that goes. The FTSE's kind of interesting because with the FTSE here, it's a nice ABC correction here. So down for the A wave, and then an A wave here, and then an ABC for the A wave, a B wave and a C wave down here for the B wave, and then the C wave moving up to its 61.8% mark as C of B, and then moving down strongly. So this move down here really is a catalyst for making all this corrective here, yeah, because it's got overlapping wave structures now. So for the FTSE, it's all doom and gloom. So it helps us with our move to the downside. So we'll put this as 1 and 2 here and 3 here. I'll just move these over here. Oops, daisy. 4 here and 5 here. Just pull them back a bit. So we can still get a rally off the low here because it appears to be 5 waves down through here. And 50-60% retracement level would be in here. So it can still move up into this space as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave up into here. So no need to panic just yet. And we could probably just clear this up here, just borrow this over here, move that. So from that low here, and then getting the low of this B wave here, that would be a way to short that through there as well. So I think we just give it a session or two to play out in this space here, and then if we see it move down from this point here, could be anything, Donald Trump's deal with Kim hasn't hasn't panned out or something, you know. But yeah, this certainly is this one here is certainly on the right track. So that's kind of that's helpful. It's a big market. So the MIB is not really. I haven't really got my head around this yet. You know that it's still a new market for me, and I haven't really picked up all its little idiosyncrasies. I just need to find it. It's way down on my watch list here somewhere. There we go. So this is just a weekly chart here for for the MIB, and it's kind of interesting as well because oh no, I'll leave that comment out, but basically we're looking for wave 3 here and a wave here, up here for 3 waves as wave B, and then down for wave C. So I'll just go to the daily chart now, and what I'm having a little bit of difficulty working out is that from wave B here down to wave C, is wave C finished here with wave 4, or do we have wave C over here? It's just a little bit tricky to count. I probably need to go on the tick chart and work all the way through it, but I was thinking this was going to be wave 4 here as an A and a B and a C here, and then moving down through here. I'm not going to turn bullish here unless I get 2,500 here as a nice tested support. Okay, I know, so that's the catalyst here. So, you know, and to get support there would have to be, you know, it'd have to give us that first high above the level, and then basically, you know, give us something there to work on at that point. So it's at the resistance point. I don't, you know, I can count parts of this, but when I, you know, even when I drill down onto the hourly chart here, I have to probably go right down into the tick chart. All of this here is just a little bit tricky to make heads or tail. It's not running very smoothly, so I need to go back into the tick chart and check that out here. So yeah, as I mentioned, this 2,500 here, the market's sitting there at the moment. I just really want to see how that's going to play out here as such. So, but any move, yeah, I mean, the other point to this too, this is the, you know, even as a wave 4 that I was looking at this in here, you know, this is getting rather high now. That's the 50% at the lower end of this box and 61.8% at the back here. So, you know, it starts to look bullish, you know, once it sort of, you know, makes any more strength in this space up here. So I don't have a clear count on this yet. I'll have to go onto a tick chart and go all the way back here. So that's going to take quite some time to unwind all of this here for me to understand it. But I was hoping that it would just follow the other markets a little bit. But it seems to have its own identity as well, so I still need to get hold of that. So apologies about that, but we'll get there with it. You know, when you bring something on board, it takes a while to figure out all the little idiosyncrasies and so on. I might bring in Spain and have a bit of a look at that too, and try and tune some of these other smaller countries into it. Okay, cheers, thanks.